There was a time when engineering was not considered essentially a field for women to take up. But things gradually changed over the years, and I have someone who is one of those women who were the agents of this change. A metallurgy engineering graduate of the 1994-98 batch, Shailley Garg is now the general manager of operations viscose at Grasim Industries Limited and has an illustrious career spanning over 2 decades. We are going to talk more about her journey today and understand how you can make a difference as well. Shailey, as I mentioned, you have been working in the manufacturing industry for over 2 decades now. That's a long time. And, since you have done your studies, you are done with your engineering. From there, a lot of things have changed, right? What are some of these major shifts that have come up according to you in the world that you're working in? And how is the world of manufacturing changing rapidly post, especially the COVID?
In the last 2 decades, we can see a lot of shifts in manufacturing, be it continual improvement in processes, data analytics, the product by process thinking in place of product quality by increasing the testing or the controls. Lots and lots of automation and digitization in manufacturing operations. And of course, we all have heard how we are implementing the Industry 4.0. So a lot of change in the last 2 decades, how we were working back in 98 and how we are working now. And coming to how the manufacturing sector has changed rapidly post-COVID, I think this COVID pandemic has prompted each and every one of us to rethink many of our conventional approaches. We came across lots and lots of challenges like shortage of raw material and price fluctuations, which led us rethink and reduce our chemical consumptions. There was an acute need to reduce the cost of production at all stages, for which we worked on innovative approaches. There was a definite focus on technology and reliability. Needless to say how much work was conducted online during this particular pandemic. And we also see increased digitization in manufacturing operations and a definite shift towards lean manufacturing, which is becoming a norm for operations during this pandemic and still ongoing.
Right. Shailey, if I have to ask you, going back in time when you were doing your engineering, how clear were you in your head that, this is the career graph that I want to build for myself? From when you look back at those times to the time that you are in right now, how do you reflect on those days?
See, long time back in 98 when I did my engineering, there was no concern in choosing engineering field. As you know, my dad was also a civil engineer from IIT, and I had seen him being the first engineer in the family across the generations. So that was one field which I preferred to choose during that time. He was also very excited when I chose engineering as a field. I have been working in the manufacturing sector for the past 24 years. And I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I got options to go for, a scientist and go for an MBA course, but somehow this manufacturing industry has fascinated me all along. And I really look forward to have more women in the manufacturing sector, which I also keep trying. But this has been a clear path which I chose for myself, and I am really proud of my choice.
During your time, what was the batch like? Did you see a lot of female participation there? Mechanical engineering is something that is look up to, something where a lot of women don't end up being, right? Because of the kind of work that you might have to carry on, because of the places that you might have to go to later on in your career. So was that a consideration back in the head?
See, coming to, the role which a manufacturing sector demands, I definitely knew the challenges. I could, feel the challenges which are there. And to share with you, when I started working in a manufacturing sector, the first day was not very good. When my direct supervisor told me to, restrict myself to a desk job just because I'm a female. And that is where one of my mentors came and approached me and said, Shailey, this is the time you make a choice. Either you jump into it or leave it.
Right.
So I think I took a call, jumped into it. I saw there were a lot of challenges to begin with, but I am really happy that I sailed through it nicely, and I really enjoyed the journey.
Right. In 2013, when you walked into Grasim. How was the first experience like for you there?
Worked in a German MNC for more than 14 years. And stepping into Grasim in 2013 was actually seeming a big shift initially. The way of working is very different. And I also joined as a business excellence head, which was actually a small portion of my profile in the earlier job. So it took me some time to get my grounding and also working out a roadmap as we were in a greenfield project and we wanted to put systems in place from beginning. I was lost in the beginning for 15-20 days. But once I got a roadmap clear in mind and the stakeholder alignment, I think things started flowing smoothly and we started working fast together. Within 6 years, I was lucky again to be heading the viscose operations department, managing the daily operations, maintenance, safety, quality with a team of around 100 employees. And we did a lot of improvements.
Being a woman yourself, Shailey, and you mentioned that in the beginning of your answer also while we were having this conversation, you said that a superior of yours mentioned that you should stick to a desk job. From that Shailey to now Shailey who makes decisions, right, in a company like ABG, what has changed and how do you see that the place of women at a place like ABG, your juniors, people who you hire, how do you make sure that that never repeats itself?
See, that is where I would say that this was way back in 98. Things have changed a lot, but still challenges are more. So whatever I say to the fresh engineers or who are coming out of their colleges, I would wish to say that stay flexible and try different roles. Work on your strengths. See, that moment was a testing point for me. I could have stepped back and I could have taken a decision to step forward. So we should be passionate of what we believe in. If I believe that I can do a particular job and it is not related to any gender or it is not related to any locality or geographical location, then nobody can stop us. No one. Be it your supervisor, be it your plant head, be it anyone. So it is basically for us to understand that there is nothing wrong in dreaming what you want to achieve. And if you are clear about your goals, then nobody can stop you. People keep working on their weaknesses. I always say, work on your strengths, make them your distinguishing criteria, diversify knowledge, not limiting to only technical stuff, work on your financial skills, budgeting, know-how of macroeconomics. Let people pinpoint and say that this employee can add value to the organization, irrespective of their gender or geographical location.
Shailey, you said that you spent almost 9 years with the Aditya Birla Group. In the 9 years that you have spent here, anything that has stood out to you in terms of memories, in terms of you doing a deliverable that you thought in the beginning that it's way too challenging for you, but then you ended up doing it successfully?
One thing which is very dear to my heart is how we handled the pandemic. I mean, the department which I'm heading is the most critical department with respect to shutdown and startup.
Right.
Because of safety, chemical handling, the need for urgency there. And when the shutdown or the lockdown was announced, I think I was the one who was juggling down between my professional and personal front to secure the needs of my family as well as the needs of the organization.
Shailey, now you are heading a team and you have a lot of responsibilities. If I have to ask you, how does your daily day look like? What all are the kind of responsibilities and decisions that you have to take up in a day? And how do you make sure that while you're managing so much of work, you're managing your life as well, your family as well?
Very important question. I think last 10 months with respect to my latest role have been truly challenging and interesting with respect to commissioning of the new production lines at our site. My main responsibility after the viscose operations function was to ensure that the new production lines are commissioned and we get the required production and quality within short time. I'm glad we fared through it very well, and the team's commitment and exceptional hard work has been truly commendable. We have been able to achieve the installed capacity and fiber acceptability in the market in a record time at our site. Coming to the work-life portion, that's a tough question, very difficult at times. But guess that's with everyone. You would also feel the same at times. How I have flared through it, this has been possible with an understanding spouse who's also my best friend, and amazing two kids who have been quite okay handling my way of life along with them. And definitely, I've worked a lot on my time management, building up my support systems to ensure which role of mine gets what amount of time. And there are definitely moments of guilt when you feel that you're not able to give enough time. But I think my family has always helped me sail through these moments with pride, and we have been able to strike a good balance so far.
Do you think women managers are more empathetic and they listen to the problem well and come up with better solutions?
I agree to this actually. I agree to this because you can also say that because I'm also seen as a people's leader. In the organization, when you see, I am seen as a people's leader because I do not look at the problem, but I look at the possible solutions. And I also try to be empathetic in my conversations with the individuals, be it a male or a female. And they are seeing me as a dependable person to discuss, and they know that they would work out options with me to deliberate further. So I think yes.
And when somebody is looking at this particular video, trying to understand that how do I get into a place where Shailey is today, what are the kind of skills do you think a person should have, and how should they be working on themselves to reach there?
See, when we are graduating from colleges or starting a career, we are very uncertain of many things. So it is very important to understand that irrespective of what career we select, as I always believe, I mean, I have got it in my blood that there is nothing which can replace hard work and passion. So that is very much important. Coming to the skills which we need to develop, knowledge today has a shelf life. So there is nothing which can replace your ongoing learning. I mean, young individuals should always have a book in hand or something which they are reading. They have to also diversify their knowledge, not limiting to only the technical stuff or the stuff which is related to their fields. They have to work on multiple facets. I mean, why not every engineer looks at the annual reports of an industry to see what is going on in the industrial sector? They should also work on their macroeconomic skills. They should work on honing their interpersonal skills. Be lifelong learners. I mean, that is one thing which is going to make us stand apart.
Right. And before we let you go, Shailey, one last piece of advice that you have for students, for engineers, for anybody who is, uncertain about their careers as to where to go next.
Try to figure out what is your purpose of life, what keeps you going, what makes you get out of your bed in the morning and say, yes, I'm going to achieve this today. And just try to deliver a better you, better than what you were yesterday. I think that is the key to any transaction.
Absolutely. Make yourself better than what you were yesterday. That is what Shailey leaves us with. Thank you very much, Shailey, for giving us time and sharing your life, your journey, and the kind of information that a lot of us do want to know about. I will end this video up. I'm again thankful to Shailey for sharing this information. I'm sure whoever is listening to this particular conversation will find this inspirational and motivational, and will find some answers that they are looking for. Thank you very much.